Lori Granger, a student from the perpetually unlucky town of Shadyside, feels the weight of her family's cursed last name. Unlike their affluent neighbors in Sunnyvale, Shadyside is known for its misfortunes, with residents often snapping under pressure. Lori, a quiet aspiring writer, aims to break this cycle by running for prom queen, hoping to prove she's more than just a Shadyside sob story. Her competition includes Tiffany Falconer, the popular and cruel leader of the Wolf Pack, and Christy Renault, a rebellious weed dealer. Lori's best friend Megan Rogers, a horror enthusiast, supports her despite her disdain for prom. The school, under the strict Vice Principal Breckenridge and Principal Wayland, is trying to project a new, improved image of Shadyside, with prom queen being a symbol of this transformation. During a class where students discuss their aspirations, Tiffany and her wolf pack, Linda, Debbie, and Melissa, mock Lori's ambition to be a writer, bringing up her mother's past accusation of stabbing her father. Megan, in a defiant act of solidarity, fakes self-mutilation to shock the bullies, earning herself a trip to the principal's office but gaining Christy's respect. Lori appreciates Megan's fierce loyalty as her mother's past continues to haunt her, especially with the upcoming prom, which her mother couldn't attend due to the incident. Lori works extra shifts to afford a prom dress. One night while working, she sees a friendly interaction between Tiffany and her father, Dan Falconer, which highlights the contrast with her own strained relationship with her mother. Later, she has a brief, awkward but sweet encounter with a boy named Jimmy at her workplace who gives her back her jacket. The next day, Christy Renault is a no-show for a drug delivery to Megan, causing concern. The student council officially disqualifies Christy from the prom queen race due to her absence, much to Tiffany's delight. The wolf pack begins promoting Linda for prom queen. Rumors circulate about Christy's whereabouts, including that she's with an older boy engaging in weekend orgies. At prom practice, Tiffany's aggressive behavior towards the DJ funk master Freddie further showcases her controlling nature. Lori receives encouragement from a fellow student, Spider, who vows to vote for her, and from Principal Wayland, who knew Lori's mother and sees Lori as a symbol of Shadyside's potential redemption. On prom night, Lori's mother expresses pride but also warns her not to fuck it up. She reveals that her own prom was cancelled due to the incident with Lori's father, hinting at the painful memories associated with the event. Lori acknowledges the weight of her family's past but hopes her run for prom queen can be a step towards a brighter future for herself and her mother. Harmony LaFay, the school reporter, broadcasts live from prom, highlighting Lori's classic Shadyside tragedy status and questioning whether she can break the Granger curse. The prom begins with Principal Wayland's stern warning about zero tolerance for alcohol and drugs. As the prom queen candidates are introduced, Tiffany, with her wolf pack, performs a pre-planned dance routine that is both impressive and pornographic, according to some. Despite the performance, Lori feels overlooked. She's further disheartened when Bobby, another student, openly states that no one will beat Tiffany, who he describes as awesome and perfect. Melissa, Tiffany's lapdog, also aggressively promotes Tiffany, leading to a heated exchange with Megan, who defends Lori. Lori realizes that being nice and sweet won't win her anything in Shadyside. She needs to stand out. Later, Lori discovers her Vote Lori flyers have been vandalized with derogatory comments about her mother. She suspects Tiffany's wolf pack. As she investigates, she encounters Linda, who appears to be behaving strangely. Meanwhile, Tiffany confronts Funkmaster Freddie, again demanding he stick to her playlist. Jimmy, Christy's prom date, admits he doesn't know where Christy is and is also looking for his stash. Lori orders a cheeseburger and a Coke from Jimmy at the diner where she works, observing his troubled demeanor. The chapter ends with the sudden appearance of Tiffany, creating a dramatic scene that draws everyone's attention, hinting at more chaos to unfold. Suddenly, a horrifying discovery shatters the prom's festive atmosphere. Christy Renault's lifeless body is found impaled by a unicorn horn decoration from the stage. Panic erupts and Vice Principal Breckenridge immediately takes control, attempting to maintain order while Principal Wayland calls the police. Tiffany, surprisingly calm, directs her wolf pack to help clear the hall, subtly seizing control of the chaotic situation. Lori and Megan, witnessing the gruesome scene, are horrified, and the decades-old Shadyside curse feels more real than ever. As police arrive and begin their investigation, the prom becomes a crime scene. Detective Williams, a veteran of Shadyside's grim history, questions everyone, particularly focusing on the prom queen candidates due to the nature of Christy's death. Tiffany, ever the manipulator, quickly points suspicion towards Lori, subtly referencing her mother's past and the Granger curse. Lori's attempt to explain her innocence is met with skepticism, deepening her isolation. Megan, however, steadfastly defends Lori, but her reputation as a horror nerd and her earlier simulated self-mutilation stunt make her a less credible witness. Later, as the remaining students are being sent home, Linda, one of Tiffany's wolf pack, starts acting erratically, mumbling about the curse and seeing things. She becomes increasingly agitated, accusing an unseen entity of being responsible. Tiffany tries to dismiss Linda's behavior as a breakdown, but Lori and Megan exchange uneasy glances, wondering if Linda's distress is linked to something more sinister. The eerie events of the night have cemented their belief that a malevolent force is at play and that Christy's death is only the beginning. The glamorous dream of prom has turned into a terrifying nightmare, confirming everyone's fears about Shadyside's cursed nature. The high school prom quickly devolves into a bloody massacre. After Christy Renault's gruesome death by a unicorn horn, Vice Principal Breckenridge struggles to maintain control while Tiffany Falconer subtly takes charge, directing her stunned wolf pack. Detective Williams arrives immediately, suspicious of Lori Granger due to her family's past and Tiffany's veiled accusations. Megan Rogers vehemently defends Lori, but her own reputation works against her. Linda, one of Tiffany's friends, begins to unravel, mumbling about a curse and unseen entities, further fueling the sense of dread. Lori, disturbed by the chaos, attempts to reconcile with Megan, who warns her that prom queen aspirations are futile in Shadyside and that Lori can't escape her past. Megan goes off to find a joint while Linda tries to warn Melissa about Tiffany's true nature. Tiffany, meanwhile, continues to assert her dominance both over her friends and the prom's playlist. Jimmy, Christie's boyfriend, arrives looking for her, expressing frustration with the Shadyside police's apathy. He shows Lori a secluded, dirty basement where he and Christie used to hang out. There they discover a shocking collection of dolls' old prom dresses and chilling mementos suggesting a disturbing pattern. Lori then receives a delivery of roses from an anonymous admirer, which Tiffany immediately suspects is from Tyler. Tiffany viciously taunts Lori, rehashing the story of Lori's mother, Rosemary, who allegedly killed Lori's father after he left her for being pregnant. Tiffany insists that the Granger name is tainted and that Lori is nothing. As the night progresses, more students start to disappear, including Judd, Debbie, and Linda. Megan, increasingly frantic, tries to convince Lori that something sinister is happening, that people are being systematically targeted. She points out that only Lori and Tiffany, the remaining prom queen candidates, are left. Lori, however, dismisses Megan's warnings, attributing them to Megan's drug use and perhaps jealousy. Tyler, Lori's crush, enters the scene, and Megan, in a fit of frustration, confronts him about his disloyalty, calling him out for his flirtation with Lori while having plans with Tiffany. Megan, now alone and terrified, hears screams and realizes the power is out. She finds Spider, the DJ, and learns the main circuit is in the basement. She heads there, where she discovers the mutilated bodies of Judd and Stoker, followed by Tyler's corpse. Realizing the horrific truth, Megan races back to find Lori. Lori, meanwhile, has gone to a private spot, with Tyler unaware of the carnage unfolding. When Megan bursts in screaming about the deaths, they are immediately pursued by a masked killer. They flee through the school, finding more dead bodies, including Debbie. The killer corners them, and in a desperate escape attempt, Megan sacrifices herself to save Lori, holding the killer back as Lori climbs through a window. Lori escapes and returns to the prom just as the results for prom queen are announced. Despite the chaos and murders, Vice Principal Breckenridge, in a chilling display of denial, continues the ceremony. Harmony LaFay, the school reporter, broadcasts live, reveling in the murder, mayhem, and madness. Unexpectedly, Lori Granger is announced as prom queen, much to her shock and the fury of Tiffany. Amidst the continued attacks, Lori's mother, Rosemary, arrives at the school, and a confrontation ensues with Principal Wayland and Nancy Falconer, Tiffany's mother. As the police secure the scene, Nancy Falconer begins to break down, revealing her intense desire for Tiffany to win and her desperate need for recognition. She subtly hints at a long-standing rivalry with Lori's mother. The climax of the film sees Tiffany seemingly unhinged, attacking Lori. She reveals a twisted truth: her father, Dan Falconer, was the one who killed Lori's father. Tiffany was obsessed with winning for him and believes the Grangers are always taking things that belong to us. The ultimate shock comes when Nancy Falconer encourages Tiffany to finish Lori, revealing her own deep-seated hatred. However, as Tiffany closes in for the kill, Lori, empowered by a sudden surge of adrenaline and a lifetime of being underestimated, fights back, ultimately killing Tiffany. The film concludes with Lori covered in blood but triumphant, declaring her identity: "I'm Lori fucking Granger." Following the horrific events of prom night, Lori Granger is hailed as a survivor and accidental hero. The immediate aftermath is a whirlwind of police investigations, media frenzy, and frantic parents. Despite the chaos, Lori feels a strange sense of liberation. She has finally broken free from the shadow of her family's perceived curse, embodying the very strength her mother, Rosemary, was accused of possessing. Detective Williams, though initially skeptical, is forced to re-evaluate his assumptions as the true extent of Dan Falconer's madness and Nancy Falconer's complicity comes to light. The discovery of the ritualistic elements in the basement, along with the sheer brutality of the murders, paints a far more disturbing picture than a simple prom night tragedy. Megan, recovering from her injuries, is by Lori's side, a true testament to their friendship. Their bond, forged in shared trauma, is stronger than ever. The other students of Shadyside are left to grapple with the horrific reality of their town's curse, no longer a folklore tale but a terrifying, tangible force that manifested through the Falconers' twisted ambition and murderous envy. The official narrative spun by the authorities attempts to contain the truth, downplaying the bizarre nature of the killings and emphasizing Dan Falconer's individual psychosis. However, Harmony LaFay, the tenacious school reporter, capitalizes on her exclusive access, fueling public speculation about Shadyside's dark history. The lingering question remains: was this an isolated incident of familial madness, or is the curse a cyclical supernatural force that will continue to plague Shadyside, merely taking different forms and different perpetrators? Lori, now the unlikely symbol of Shadyside's resilience, understands that while she survived this night, the echoes of the past and the potential for future horrors will always be a part of her story. The victory of Lori fucking Granger is not just a personal triumph but a stark, bloody reminder of the town's enduring darkness. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.